All right, should be up and running here shortly. Ball streams should be good to go. All right, so we'll be going over the market, going over today's plays, talk about what to expect as we get into the rest of this shortened week here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for December 20th, 2021. Q's down 1.1%. SPY down 1.06. Doing another bit of an hourly sell, but pretty extended here. You can see we had a pretty decent gap down. I think when we checked before the open, it was around like 1.4%, maybe like 1.2 for the SPY, 1.4 for the Qs. We were bearish coming into today. We talked about this hourly sell. The only way that we wouldn't be bearish is if we took out Friday's high. Instead, of course, we gapped down and we got follow through to the downside here off of that sell setup. Seems pretty common that when we have that bearish bias that we get to targets through gaps, just kind of the way that the market is lately, which is fine. But we are going to remain bearish going into tomorrow. It's just after we've had a move like this, where kind of the move lower into kind of the next support area, same with the SPY here. You know, it's a little bit harder to tell what the next immediate move is. A lot of times we'll get a little bit of a retracement first. Maybe we poke below and then we turn into a base. You know, it's just that the entry here is kind of already kind of done what it's supposed to do, has already kind of reached its target there, which is back into support. So going into tomorrow, going to be bearish overall, but we'll see what the counter move is, right? What is the sell setup going to look like? We're pretty extended from the 20 MA. Are we going to get a base instead and then lead into the next base breakdown? We talked about the bull sandwich that we got here on the weekly on the SPY here. So is that going to lead to kind of a lower high and move lower here on the Qs and SPY? We'll see. We'll kind of deal with it as we move through day by day, because the hourly has been pretty useful here as far as keeping an eye on and a step ahead of the daily chart. Okay. All right, let's get into the plays from today. Started off with the BLUE, I believe, not BLU, BLUE. And the BLUE, I went after this as a short here on the BLUE. Played it as an opening bar, opening base breakdown here, and then got shaken out of it. Well, not shaken out of it, actually. It didn't work, okay? Which is fine. I like the gap quite a bit. Negating that green bar from Friday, gapping to new multi-year lows, I think. Looks like all-time lows. New all-time lows on the BLUE. And then the entry's good. I don't have any problems with this play. It didn't work. And the reason I kind of was saying shakeout, even though it actually wanted to keep on going higher, is that that was what I was watching for. As soon as I got kicked out of it, we talked about this before. How do we re-enter something if it is a shakeout? Is that the bar that gets you out, which was this bar, puts in an inside bar. Underneath that inside bar can get back in. What did it do instead? It just kept on going up, so I canceled the play. I had an order for it to replay a second time on the BLUE. All right. So that was the first play. Next play, GRTX. GRTX, if you were trading with me this morning, you know I put orders in for this 3-4 times. Was going to play initially over this initial bar breakout. I had the order at 360 and it went to 359. Okay, so I got a little bit lucky there. Didn't trigger. Came back in. Okay, then I was looking at to play, okay, maybe we'll play it again here. It's looking like it wants to break out again. And then came back in, so canceled the order. That was the order number 2. Came up here, looked like it may trigger, put in another order, was going to play it as a breakout this way. Okay. It was really sloppy this morning too. That was one thing I didn't like about it. That's why I kept using the whole range of the morning as the entry. And then finally, we got a tight base here. And as I was saying, you know what, let's do this with the tighter stop. I don't want to use low of the day. As soon as I said that, it popped, which is fine. It triggered in my original entry, which was to do this whole thing. So that was like the 4th time I'd put an order in. Okay. And then I was saying, okay, now that we've actually gotten tight bars here, this actually can be played as a base breakout that way, but I didn't catch it. And then off it went. So that was still nice though. Even with the bigger stop, it still went 3Rs, over 3Rs on this. I took some here when it started to kind of slow down a little bit, and then took some more as it moved up, and then held a runner piece on the GRTX. GRTX, I tried it last week. I don't know if you recall. I played it on the day of the gap actually here, and it didn't work. Or it was like up an R and then gave the whole thing back and then closed at the lows there. And I said, no, I like the play. I don't mind it. The void above is really nice. Today we had a much better follow through and attempt at the void here. So I liked that a lot. Then on the GRTX, I did plan to add to it. I was fine with adding to it. We did. I had a call on this to play it over this base. You can see it triggered. Volume came in here. So that was kind of a sign here that we got to be careful because it was breaking above that base. There's that volume again showing up there. And ended up trailing this. Basically, as the 15-minute caught up here, trailed it right in there. We were originally using this as the base, as the breakout. So about half our loss on the ad play on this, and you can see it wouldn't have worked. So that was a good trail. It was just because we got that breakout bar, a couple inside bars, and then I just trailed to the inside bars. That's pretty standard process for my management. So nothing too fancy there. Would have been nice if it worked, of course. I thought we still had room higher, so I like that. But just wasn't going to follow through too much this afternoon. And then best play of the afternoon there was the TUYA from Sammy here. Okay, look at that. Really, really nice follow through there. 15-minute looked like, first entry didn't want to go. Did a nice job of managing it. He kind of tightened it, but didn't get shaken out. And then into new lows and beyond, into the close there, very, very weak. All right, so that was kind of the day. I said this in the morning as well. Really we just want to focus. I don't mind. Not every play is going to work, but I had blue as a favorite. GRTX, I knew I wanted to play if it was going to clear the resistance from last week. For the most part, we should be focusing on a very small number of symbols. Try not to jump around too much. If you're finding that nothing really is that interesting, then that's probably just the way it is. There's not that much to do. I thought this afternoon, besides TUYA, there's almost nothing else to do. All right, so as we get closer to Friday, I think it may be just that way. Okay, so try not to trade out of boredom. Okay? All right, guys, that'll do it for today's market wrap. We'll be back at it tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening.